All right, welcome to this series on job costing and how to do it in QuickBooks. I want to start real quickly with why we do job costing and what the benefits are. A few things. One, it gives us a competitive advantage. If we understand our costs, we are in a better position compared to our competitors as to how to price our products. We understand what's driving our costs, and we can control our costs a little bit better. It helps us in setting prices. We need to know how much it costs us to produce something, so we know how much we need to sell it for. It matches our revenues and expenses. As we go through it, we'll show you how that happens. We're able to see in the same period the revenues and the expenses that drove those revenues. It lets us measure profitability on every order, and it gives us insight to improve profitability on every order. And if we do that, we can improve our profitability as a whole, as the company as a whole. There is a limitation of standard job costing, or conventional job costing, I guess, and that is just the accuracy. One of the pieces of costing is factory overhead. Job costing tends to allocate that in a convenient way, not necessarily highly accurate, but it depending on your situation or your business, it could be more accurate than other situations. As we go through and talk about how we apply factory overhead, hopefully that will make more sense. There are three elements of manufacturing costs: direct material, direct labor, and factory overhead. These are the three pieces that whenever we're putting costs together for a job, these are the pieces that are going to make up the total costs. We categorize these, and you don't need to know this so much for this video or for this series, but these two are called prime costs. These two are called conversion costs, and in another series we'll talk about conversion costs separate from material costs. But for this one, just understand there's three pieces, and that's all you need to know for that. Now, there's another way we can categorize costs. One is called product costs. These are costs, they're also called inventoriable costs. They are, as it says here, recognized as inventory until the product is sold. And we also have period costs, and these are recognized as costs immediately. Now, I have here a summary income statement or profit and loss statement. You have your revenue minus your cost of goods sold, gives you your gross income, minus your other expenses, and that gives you your net income. Now, the product costs on the left side of the red line here, these are the costs that are going to become our cost of goods sold. Now, there are four accounts in our accounting system that we're going to set up, and we'll go through those in future videos. But the four accounts are raw material, factory overhead, work in process, and finished goods. So these are actual inventory accounts that you'll set up in your QuickBooks. Now, our goal as a manufacturer, our goal is to take some raw material that we get from a supplier, improve the value of it, do some work on it, assemble it differently, whatever we do to it, and then sell it. So we spend some money for raw material. We then take that raw material and we put it into work in process, or we put it into factory overhead. If it's direct, it goes to work in process. Indirect to factory overhead. A direct material is going to be something significant. So, for example, we're going to use the example of building doors. Wood, in the case of doors, would be a direct material. Glue that holds the wood together would be an indirect material, just because it's very small. We don't want to track it, half a pint or whatever to each individual door. Now, factory overhead contains some other things. Indirect labor, this would be like a shop foreman, a maintenance person, someone who does not work directly on the product, but whose work is important to getting the product built. Utilities, those portion of our utilities that we use to run the factory. So if we have an electric bill, we need to split it between, we estimate this much is used by the factory, this much is used by the office. Keep those separate. Rent, depreciation on the factory, etc. We'll go through a few others later. Now, our direct labor costs, these are our employees who do work directly on the product, who either cut the wood, they assemble it, they sand it, finish it, whatever the case is. The cost for that labor actually increases our inventory, or rather increases the value of our inventory. So we record what would maybe typically be a payroll expense. We actually record it as an increase to our work in process inventory account. Now what's going to happen is we'll apply our factory overhead, and we'll move some of that to work in process, and I will show you how to do that at a later time. I'll show you how, why, when we do it. Factory overhead is kind of its own. It's a different animal. So we move the costs from factory overhead to work in process. So now you'll notice everything's flowing toward the work in process. So this is what's happening in our shop during a given accounting period. We're working on it. When we finish a product, it moves to finished goods. Now for this series, you may not need a finished goods account. The reason why is if you are creating a product once somebody has ordered it, it's really going to go from work in process right to cost of goods sold. If you're going to build something and put it on a shelf and wait for a customer to come buy it, then you want to keep track of what's in finished goods. But because it's really sold before you even produce it, it's just one extra journal entry to go from work in process to finished goods, just to go from finished goods to cost of goods sold. Now in the examples, I am going to show you the finished goods account and show you how to use that just in case. But understand that for your business, if you don't need it, if you really never have a finished goods inventory on hand, it's okay to just eliminate that account. But once you sell it, the cost of whatever you sold, the total cost, meaning what's in finished goods, becomes the cost of goods sold. So it shows you your revenue and those costs, and it's matched in that period. Your revenue and the cost that you incurred in inventory to generate that revenue are shown in the same, in the same period. So with that, we're going to create some more videos for you to see that will hopefully show you how to do this in QuickBooks. Please leave me any comments so I can improve my videos and be more clear to help you out.